Hello, Bianca Belrosa. Gonna give it a little bit of time for people to join before we get started. But super excited to do this today. Thank you guys for joining my first ever live. While we wait for people to get here, I'm just gonna tell y'all a funny story. I didn't even know how to go live. I had to Google how do you go live. So I learned something new today. Hey Kelly, thank you for joining. And Olivia, happy to see you here as well. All right, hello there, Jamie. I hope that everybody is actually enjoying all this new moon energy. It's been a little intense for me, but I know that has a lot to do with the house that the new moon sits in for me. That is Emery Jamie. Just in case you don't know Emery Jamie, that is Bianca is Tisha. So say hey to each other. So we'll give it, maybe 5 minutes or so till we get to 7:05, and then we will jump into the message. The goal really wasn't for this to be too long, but I did want to make sure we were able to touch on all the things that have been on my spirit to talk to you guys about all week. This imposter syndrome topic has been top of mind for me since last Sunday. And I've been going back and forth on how to make it relevant for the page. And the card today really made it make sense. So excited to share with you all what it is that Spirit wanted me to share with you guys this whole week. So got about 1 more minute and then we'll dive into the message here. In the interim, I'm gonna drink some tea. Before we spill this tea, I'll drink some tea. And in honor of the new moon being in Gemini, we do have a throat chakra candle lit. I don't know if everyone who will be watching this is familiar with Gemini energy, but Gemini energy is like this mutable energy, which is really an energy of change. Some might even say fickle. And it's a very airy energy. And airy energy is based in intellectual knowledge. So with that, you get a lot of energy around communication, how you share knowledge, and how that can change, especially under the energy of a moon phase shift. So the Gemini is also really focused on partnerships, really of all kinds. So that could be romantic, which usually comes up because people get really caught up in the Lover's card when it comes to the tarot, and that being tied to Gemini energy. But really, it's actually more closely associated with sibling relationships and closer family, inter-family relationships. So really think about that also as you are getting into this energy and letting it influence your actions over the next few days. So I would say, even though it's really tough right now, because the new moon is in energy, we really need to be focused on how we are communicating and connecting with other people, because that's what Gemini is all about. So get creative with how it is that you are communicating and connecting. Things like this, Zoom video conferences with your friends, really anything that allows you to stay connected with other people is going to be really helpful for you as you move through these murky waters that can come about. So the new moon in Gemini is actually in 2 degrees today. So I would suggest you guys check your houses. If you have your natal chart pulled up, check your houses to see where Gemini in 2 degrees falls. I checked my chart ahead of time, and Gemini in 2 degrees falls in the 5th house for me. So the 5th house is a house that's ruled by Leo. So it's all about strength and courage. And Leo is ruled by the sun. So it's about illumination and enlightenment. So for me, when I'm setting my intentions tonight, I'm going to focus on, one, having more fun. That's what the 5th house energy is about also. It's about recreation and procreation and just creativity in general. So I'm going to set my intentions on having more fun, being really creative with projects that I'm starting, and not being afraid to talk about or share those projects as they are coming to fruition. And I think that really kind of leads to the topic of imposter syndrome, which I wanted to talk about today. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with what imposter syndrome is this internal feeling that you're a fraud, and like that people are going to find out that you're a fraud. Like it's like someone is always just about to uncover the fact that you're not real, or what it is that you are claiming to have some authority over, you actually don't have any authority over. So I think it's important, one, to understand that that's very it's a very common phenomenon. And if you think it's uncommon, I will share with you that there are some very notable people who also suffer from imposter syndrome and have publicly stated it. People like Albert Einstein, people like Maya Angelou. Like, if that's the company I have to keep, then so be it. It really comes down to people who suffer from imposter syndrome. They don't really think they deserve the success that they have, and they tend to base all of the success that they have in luck. Like, they think it's just, oh, by chance I was able to accomplish this goal. It's not because I have the skills, or I put in the work, or I am just so talented, even contrary to the evidence that supports that. So the thing that I want us to really focus on when we're dealing with imposter syndrome is that it's usually tied to certain environments, certain situations, certain people. So with this new moon, when you're thinking about setting those intentions and starting fresh and starting anew, I would suggest you take a step back and really look outside of yourself, which is where people get so unfortunately anchored. But look outside of yourself and notice what's going on around you. Does this only happen in the workplace? Does it only happen with a particular friend or a particular romantic partner? Does it only happen at a family function? Is it only happening in yoga class? Like, wherever you find yourself feeling that imposter syndrome the most, and look around at the people, are they similar? I guarantee if you start to ground yourself in your surroundings, you'll notice a pattern. And once you notice that pattern, it's going to be very important for you to break the pattern. So that's why I was really happy when I saw this card come out, the full moon in Aquarius card. So the full moon in Aquarius card that came out this morning, at the bottom of the card, it reads, show the world the real you. I realized it was off camera, so show the world the real you. I think that's a very empowering message around how you can overcome imposter syndrome when you are getting stuck in that mucky feeling that you're not enough, and that what you're bringing to the table is not enough. Remember that you are uniquely who you are. Step one, you can't be afraid to show the world the real you. This card is all about looking at your current situation and releasing yourself from being confined or defined by that situation. So you need to let go of that feeling that being who you really are will somehow damage the connection or the project or the path that you want to be on, and realize that in not fully being yourself, you're actually kind of self-sabotaging in that arena. Moreover, because it's about full moon in Aquarius, I want you guys to know that Aquarian energy is very unique. Aquarian energy is very unconventional. It's begging for you to really anchor yourself in who you are and be that 100%. But even more, Aquarian energy is not clingy. Aquarian energy has no desire to hold on to anything when the time has come to move on. So that's why when I say, when you feel that feeling of imposter syndrome creeping up inside of you, look around, see what doesn't belong or see what's always there, and make that no longer a part of your storyline. The next full moon in Aquarius is actually going to be on August 3rd of this year. So between now and then, really focus on, one, being authentically yourself, and see how things begin to manifest for you. There are some aspects with this new moon that really speak to this feeling of imposter syndrome and this need to let go of the people in the spaces that don't serve you as you're trying to move away from that feeling. So first aspect is there's an aspect that we are experiencing with this new moon that is really pushing us to network and connect and stay connected. It's a positive aspect. It's the new moon trine Saturn. And basically what that means is the new moon and the sun are in Gemini at 2 degrees, and Saturn is currently retrograding in Aquarius at 1 degree. Though they are coming together to amplify each other, to work together. So that energy around networking and partnering is super, super important. But what I want you to think about with that is in order to figure out the types of people you may want to connect with, the types of people you want to network with and bring into your inner circle, you also are going to have to look at your charts, guys. So go and figure out which house Gemini in the early degrees falls in and Aquarius in the early degrees falls in. Again, Gemini is in 2 degrees. Saturn's retrograded in Aquarius at 1 degree. So look and see which houses those fall in. That's going to give you some idea of the spaces and the types of people that you should be worrying about connecting with and networking with. I say that because there is another aspect that is hugely, hugely impacting this imposter syndrome feeling. And it is the fact that it's an energy that makes you feel confused. It's a confusion energy. So it's a negative aspect. It's Mercury conjunct Venus in Gemini at 20 degrees. And they are square Neptune in Pisces at 20 degrees. What that is this battle of your head with your heart. So basically, you're going to be thinking something is one way, but then your gut feeling is going to be telling you need to go another way. And it's going to leave you in this state of confusion where you can't trust your intuition, but you also can't trust your thoughts because of that Mercury and Gemini energy. And Venus is also tied into Mercury. So it's double head energy against that Neptune energy, which is very much so heart and gut feelings types energy. So what I would say is when you are in those positions where you are being forced to connect with people because of that first positive aspect, that's like connect. Take a look at your chart where Gemini at 20 degrees falls, and where Pisces at 20 degrees falls. And that's where you should be wary of those connections, because those connections might feel a little tricky. It might feel like people who are coming in to provide that support, but they're probably the people who are putting you in those positions where you are feeling imposter syndrome the most. The people who don't support you and the people who aren't being in that space that allows you to know that you are good enough and what you're doing is you have that authority in that space that you're standing in. So again, overall, this is a really good time to connect with people, maybe to either become a mentor or a teacher or find one, actually. But be careful. Be careful. Make sure that you are checking your houses and checking your chart so you don't end up connecting with the wrong people. I would also say that this is going to be a time where really you need to just shed any feelings of doubt about what your self-worth is and how you can move forward in that space. So like I said, I didn't want this to be super long, so I'm going to give you a couple of pieces of advice to overcome imposter syndrome using all of this new moon and Gemini energy. So number one, I'm going to urge you guys to normalize voicing your fears and insecurities. Normalize it. Say it out loud. Say it to other people. Talk about it. Because what you're going to find out is other people have those same insecurities. Other people have those same fears. You're not alone in them, which will make it easier to understand that this is not something that's just happening to you. Number two, you want to release the need to be perfect. As much as you may want to be, I promise you, you are not Superman and you are not Wonder Woman. So don't be shocked when you can't literally save the world by yourself. That, like, don't take that on and then be shocked when it doesn't happen. You're not a superhero. You are a spirit having this human experience. And this human experience has limits. Cue Saturn in retrograde. Number three, you need to release the idea that you should just know how to do things, and that the first time you try something that you should be a master of it. Like, release that idea. If the phrase, if at first you don't succeed, try again, it wouldn't exist if it wasn't a thing. Don't come into a situation feeling like you should have mastered it when it's your first time trying it. If you can let go of those three areas, that feeling like you don't have authority or you don't have control of a scenario goes away a lot quicker. The last little bit of advice I would give to you is to ask for help. And ask for help early and often. Oh my gosh, ask for help as much as you possibly can, because people want to help you be your best self. And you already are your best self as you are right now. So live in that. Anchor yourself in that. I'm going to wrap this up, guys, with an affirmation mantra set that you can state daily, or you can maybe write it on a mirror that you walk by every day, to help you stay away from imposter syndrome moving forward, especially under this new moon. So that mantra is, I have talent. I am capable. I belong. Say that to yourself in the morning. Write it on your mirror. Put it in your car. Repeat it to yourself before you go to bed every night. Whatever you do, incorporate that into your daily activity. From this new moon, heck, into the full moon in Aquarius, if you'd like. I say never take it out of your daily activities. But again, do those things and watch how things start to manifest for you. So again, thank you guys all for joining my very first live. I appreciate everybody that took the time to check it out. If you're not already, follow the page, leave a comment. Let me know how this did or did not resonate for you. And for those of you that'll be doing rituals tonight and over the next 3 days, I am sending you as much love and light as I possibly can. And for everyone else, happy new moon and Gemini moon, children. I'll talk to you later. Bye.